Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in today with another fantasy football video. Today's video is a breakdown of the Thursday night football game and all the fantasy football implications that went between the Giants and the New England Patriots. Now, before I get into the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. Play the role now. Are you tired of having to pick the perfect player at every single position in order to win on salary cap DFS? Are you tired of having your salary cap lineup out of the running to win that money in the first 5 minutes of the games? Does playing salary cap DFS feel like a job and not even a game? Want a fantasy game where pros with 150 lineups and computer generated programs can't dominate? OverlayDFS.com has a new revolutionary start sit game for fantasy sports. They're the home of the single entry GPP. How do you play? Like I said, it's a simple start sit format. You make 12 start sit decisions from the 30 plus matchups presented, like you can see on my screen right now, for week 6. A win, loss, or tie will be awarded to your overall record for each decision you make. Records in the top 10% of users win 9 times your buy-in. 12-0 records win GTD progressive bonus. All matchups are player versus player who will have the most total fantasy points. Usually 8-4 records are good enough to get that cash. Sometimes 7-5, other times 9-3, depending on the week. You make 12 picks in the matchups options listed. For example, for week 6, it could be Pat Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield versus Andy Dalton, Dalvin Cook versus Alvin Kamara, and many, many more. The object is to stay consistent and finish in the top 10% of the field to win 9 times your buy-in until the stars align and you go that beautiful 12-0. Right now, if you go a perfect 12-0 in the $109 game, you'll win the progressive bonus of over $26,000. They have buy-ins at all levels. If no one hits the perfect 12-0 record of the progressive bonus, keeps growing and growing and growing until it gets hit. It's like the super contest, but for DFS. Don't get shut out. Visit www.overlaydfs.com today. Make sure you guys check out that website. Overlay DFS link is down below in the description. It is very fun to plan. I plan it every single week, and I would love if you guys would join me. So let's get right into this. New York Giants against the New England Patriots. The Patriots won 35-14, but there are some things to note from both teams. Now, Danny Jones did not play all that hot. 15 for 31, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 9.2 QBR. Obviously wasn't a great game from Daniel Jones, but what did you really expect against the New England Patriots? Now, the Patriots running backs also didn't do all that hot. John Hilliman, 11 for 38. Obviously, I said maybe you could start him if you're in a sticky situation, but he ended up fumbling the ball and hurting a lot of that value for him this week. Now, if you ended up starting him, you were probably very disappointed, and I'm sorry about that because he ended up fumbling the ball, like I said. But at the end of the day, you probably may have had to start someone else that could have been potentially even worse. Now, in the passing game, there is actually a high note to talk about here, and that is Golden Tate, 6 for 102 and 1 touchdown. He had a great game. I didn't anticipate the game being that great for Golden Tate last night. But what I do think is a positive from that is once Ingram is out there, once Sterling Shepard is out there, once they're playing against a defense that's not as good as the Patriots, I think that Golden Tate and Shepard could both produce huge numbers while they're both on the field. Golden Tate looked fast, he looked good, and I think that that is obviously the bright spot for the Giants in this game. Now for Tom Brady, 31 for 41, 334 yards, 0 touchdowns in the past game, and 1 pick, but where he truly got his was in the run game, I should say. 7 carries, 6 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just ran it straight up the middle on the 1 yard line 2 times, scored that touchdown. There's 2 touchdowns for Tom Brady. Now, he didn't have all that good of a game, but like I said, those 2 rushing touchdowns did end up saving him. Now, Sony Michel got screwed over by Brandon Bolden. 3 carries for 23 yards and 1 touchdown. This is just what happens when you start Sony Michel or James White. You're playing the game that could be Sony Michel or James White getting vultured by some random running back. It used to be Rex Burkhead. Now it's Brandon Bolden. I thought this was a lock for a good game for Sony Michel. He just did not play all that well. 22 for 86 in the run game, as well as 2 for 27 in the pass game. So he didn't super disappoint you, but he didn't get those points that you thought he was going to get. James White, 2 carries for -1 yards, but got his in the passing game, 9 for 46. So if you're in a normal league, a regular standard league, you were probably disappointed. But in a PPR format, you were pretty happy with the 13, 14-ish points he put up last night. Now, Julian Edelman, 9 for 113, a great game out of him. Zero touchdowns, though, but at the end of the day, that's still a solid game, especially in a PPR format. Mr. Flash Gordon, savior of the universe, ended up exiting the game in the before the second half. He looks like his knee is fucked up. Who knows how good he will be when he comes back. Josh Gordon is a guy that I'm throwing out now. I thought that this would be his big game. He got hurt, so you can't really blame it on him being bad, but he didn't play it that well when he was on the field. So I think I'm just done with Flash Gordon. Obviously, a huge game from Julian Edelman. Mr. Ryan Izzo, a lot of guys tried to get smart. They tried to get fancy, and they started Ryan Izzo in this game. Ryan Izzo, 2 for 31, zero touchdowns. I advised against going with any of these tight ends. People went with them. Obviously, I can see the reasoning why Ryan Izzo played great last week, but he did not step up to the plate this week. Now, if you had the New England Patriots defense, you absolutely slaughtered your opponent this game. 3 picks as well as 2 fumbles. Pretty solid game from the gang, obviously, there on the New England Patriots. So I think that obviously the New England Patriots for the rest of the season are going to be amazing. The defense wise and the offense is going to be amazing too. Tom Brady is a guy that you're going to be able to start every single week, whether the matchup is good or not. Obviously, when the matchup is juicy like this one, you obviously want to start him a lot more. And in other games where he plays against a harder defense, I would advise against going against him. But pretty much every single game, he's going to be a top 10 guy when he's in a solid matchup. Now, like I said, Julian Edelman now with Josh Gordon maybe out and with Philip Dorsett dealing with an injury, Julian Edelman could be a wide receiver 1 for the next coming weeks if Josh Gordon does not return, and I really love that value. In the running game, Sony Michel goes back to being a guy that I'm nervous about starting, and James White is a guy that I'm still pretty confident starting in PPR leagues. Let's hope that Saquon comes back next week for all of you Saquon owners. He should be good to go next week. I'm pretty confident in that. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you enjoyed the video, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Make sure while you're down there, check out overlaydfs.com. Check it out. Come play with me. We're going to have a great goddamn time. You guys are going to have a great rest of your day. You're going to come back, watch all the videos later. You're going to come back on Sunday, watch the live stream. You're just going to have a great overall day. I love you all. Goodbye.